So the first question we have is for you is what types of airflow measurement device are used to measure airflow rate at air terminal devices? So do you have limitations or?
No, we don't have limitations. So there's both the controlled and uncontrolled ventilation. So we have some typically the Testo 417, which is a fan measuring device which necessitates an airflow straightener, but we do have flow hoods, which are pressure compensating flow measuring devices. Again, there's no limitation other than A, they're calibrated, but more importantly, B, that they can pass the proficiency test. And we have now, I think, about 50 people who've gone through the proficiency test, and the supporting measurements across all 20 readings for each one of those devices really establishes a good benchmarking. I think I lay more confidence in the proficiency test than I do a calibration cert. Like the number of people who have just don't know how to configure their devices is just phenomenal, you know. So it's really been key to bringing a lot of confidence to this scheme. It has been the proficiency unit, you know.
And so, but in the market, you mostly use van anemometer, not hot-wire anemometer or things like that, or do you use?
Vane anemometers, yes.
Anemometers.
Most common, yeah.
Okay, and subsidiary question to this one. We are now revising the standard 16211 about airflow measurement. I don't know if you refer to this standard in your regulation. And this standard propose other way to measure airflow, like induct measurement or measurement with tight bag or things like that. Do you use it also, or do you use only airflow measurement at air terminal device?
Only airflow measurement at air terminal device.
Okay. Good. And you do not refer to 16211, I guess, then?
No.
In the regulation, okay. There is another question, but I think you did answer it at the end. For the calibration, do you verify the maximum permissible error of 14134
yes.
For airflow rate measurement? Yes, you do, right.
It's 1 liter per second for flow rates less than 10 liters per second and 10% above that, which is where we got our sort of parameter from, I suppose.
Okay. And then there is a practical question. What if supply or extract diffuser is not accessible to the controller or has a shape for which it is difficult to measure? What is your approach when the measurement is difficult to, well, it's more possible to perform the measurement at the terminal device?
It's, and we have seen that, and I suppose that will happen once because a ventilation validator will put on his report it was not possible to measure the supply grill, which now has a fitted wardrobe underneath it or something that's inhibiting him from making that measurement. They can be creative with flexi ducting and all the rest of it, but that's a big problem, and it happens on the once, and it's reported back to the installers or and we're trying to erode that issue out, you know, putting our placement of ducts in inaccessible areas. You won't get a validation certificate, so you'll have to try to devise something that will allow for the measurement of it. It'll be a pain, but it'll happen once. It won't happen again successively by the same builder. That's the way we're trying to deal with that.
Okay, and then what is it that the building is non-conform? Do I understand you well?
Well, the builder has to either, you know, put some sort of an extension duct on it to allow the validator to measure it, or he doesn't get his validation certificate. So
the building is not conform in a way if it doesn't find a way to do the measurement. That's the responsibility of the builder to find a way for its okay. Airflow measurement has to be made on trickle speed or bow speed for extract fan with
Heat recovery ventilation.
Heat recovery ventilation, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, both. Yeah. So the validation cert in our regulations, we have a general ventilation rate, and then we have a boost for minimum boost extract rates. So there tends to be the general supply and extract, and then there tends to be the boost supply and extract. And so measurements are made for all four, or sorry, for all two settings, like the general rate and the boost rate.
Okay. And when you do measurements in multifamily building, do you put every dwelling in boost speed, or do you just put in boost only the dwelling that you are testing? Is it?
It would just be the dwelling you're testing.
Okay. All right. I think we do not have other question. Also, yes, we have a new one coming. Have you measured back pressure in your testing device? So I think the idea here is when you do not use compensating system, do you check that the pressure loss generated by the testing device is not too big? I think that's the question.
Yeah, no, I know what the question is, but no, I suppose is do we look at back pressure? No, we have the proficiency unit. It's not accounting for what we're very happy that if we're reading within 1 liter per second or 10% of the proficiency unit, that we're in the right space in terms of measurements, and back pressure isn't going to serve to render a ventilation system non-compliant. What we're finding, to be perfectly honest with you, if we could be within 20% of the Part F of the building regulations, we'd be delighted. Like it's really shocking, really, what we've discovered to date in terms of compliance out there in the marketplace.
Okay. And so, yeah, I guess, do you have the calibration protocol for that is written somewhere, or do you use, or do you have all the requirements for the calibration of the device and 14134? For the protocol of calibration, for example, like the pressure in the ductwork and things like that to be?
No, it's 14134.
14134, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for this. I think we can now move to the next presentation. If you have other questions to Gary, do not hesitate to ask them, targeting Gary, saying for Gary at the beginning of the question, and we will get back to you at the end of the webinar. We will have some time for other questions.